to have this man on. Steve Laffey, former mayor of Cranston, Rhode Island, former presidential candidate, author, and movie maker. Check out the movie on Amazon. It is Fixing America. Steve, always a pleasure to see you, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we're ready to rock.
Yeah, it's a great day to do it, too, with the Fed. But go ahead, my friend.
Well, let's kind of jump into the Fed. There's so much stuff to talk about,
Yeah.
but since that's the top news, the Fed rates are staying the same. What's your take on that?
My take is that, and this is for everybody listening who may even take a job in management, take the head of the Fed, become the president, whatever you're doing, you've got like 100 days to make a difference. They write books about this. And Kevin Warsh fumbled. He threw up today. I mean, Kevin Warsh is new head of the Fed. So backdrop. Almost 2 years ago, the Fed started cutting interest rates. And the only time in their history this has happened, long-term interest rates have gone from 3.67 to 4.67 instead of going down, because the Fed only controls the short-term interest rates. Kevin Warsh was adamant today about inflation having to be stable and at 2%, which, by the way, is a complete lie. Stable would be zero. Everybody listening, okay? So 2% is a disaster. Right now, it's running 3 to 4%, no matter what you look at. And I don't see any end in sight to that kind of number, well above 2, until we start replicating the stupid war that Trump started. And only stupid because he's doing a terrible job prosecuting it. But Kevin Warsh whiffed again because he should have just raised interest rates like a full percentage point. Not even a quarter, not even a half. He should have sent a message like Paul Volcker did. We have a giant problem in this country. And all Kevin Warsh really did today was say he has committees. He's letting the markets tell him things. Well, guess what? 1 month from the day he became head of the Fed to today, at his second full meeting, the best performer was what? Commodities. That's telling you inflation's a problem, because commodities like oil work their way into everything else, into prices for consumers. So whether they use the CPI, the PCE, the CPI core, whatever, Kevin Warsh bowed basically to Donald Trump, who made him the head of the Fed. He had a chance to be a hero. And by the way, he still has a chance. Like if next month he raises rates considerably and convinces people to do so, well, okay, I'll say he's on his way. But he won't, because, folks, we now have a midterm election in November. Only like one other time, and we know what happened then, right? Did people try to do interest rate changes right before a midterm or a presidential election? He should have done it today and not done anything in September. It's too close. So now it'll be considered political, and if he does nothing, it'll be considered political. So I don't know what Kevin Warsh wants out of life, but if you want success, we've only had one really successful guy. His name was Paul Volcker. We had a real problem. He caused 2 recessions. He cost millions of people jobs. And he's a hero to the American people because he wrangled out inflation out of the system. And for 30 years, we had lower interest rates. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame of the Fed, and everybody else is a complete joker. And Warsh probably now is on his way to being a joker, or what we call, in our terms, the Arthur Burns, the guy who in the 1970s was friends with the president, made all the mistakes, lowered rates when inflation's going up, and set the stage for someone like Paul Volcker to come in, who, by the way, Jimmy Carter put him in, not Ronald Reagan, just so everybody knows. He did one good thing, Jimmy Carter. He did a couple of good things, and he was a nice man. But that's the problem today. He didn't do anything. And here's the thing people don't understand. If you really want to know what the Fed's been doing, they look at the 2-year interest rate on the treasuries at 4.2, and the Federal Reserve rate is 3.5 to 3.75. They kept it there. If he had gone to 4, a half a percentage point, or 3/4 to get it right where the market's telling him, because Kevin Warsh, by the way, who made one great decision in his life, he married a very, very wealthy lady to Harris to a massive fortune. So he's been able to do what he wants to for a long time. God bless him, by the way. And he's probably a really good guy. But he whiffed today, a really bad whiff with a ball coming right down the middle. He swung and he missed.
So let's talk about the midterm elections and how this plays into the
Yeah.
midterm elections. Oil prices were at $100 a barrel. They went down to 80-ish. They're hovering at
Yeah.
around 81, 80. But beyond that, obviously, oil, diesel, that all affects supply that we're bringing into this country, moving around the country. What do you think this is as far as affecting the country and the midterm elections in the next few months?
Well, it's already affected the midterm elections. People, just so you know, I did my first real honest project that I did not finish because I got into Harvard Business School in 1983. And my topic was what decides elections in November. And I tell you, it's still going to be the same thing. It's what people think and what the GDP and inflation and what they're facing at the pump is happening in July. Most people get locked in. In other words, no matter what the noise is now, how much money is spent now, 96% of the people who actually are going to vote are in. Maybe 4% have no idea. We don't know why they have no idea. I don't want to encourage them not to vote, but if you really have no idea and you still vote, by the way, just so people know, I've knocked on enough doors, I've seen this act, right? I've seen the whole thing. I've seen it with reporters, people voting who have no idea what's going on. It's crazy. But back to this, oil is going right through all the product lines. And this goes out to what Donald Trump is actually doing. He's attempting to lose the United States Senate for Republicans. He's going to lose the House, but he's attempting because he wants to lose it. Right? Now, he knows he's going to be impeached for 2 years and he's going to fight for 2 years. And I will tell you this, he's lost the House. It's 2006 all over. It's really, really, really hard for the Democrats to win over the Senate because of just the makeup of what's going on, where the elections are. And maybe they pulled a rabbit out of the hat because the Democrats wanted a Nazi. By the way, a guy who's like an oyster man who picks up oysters. By the way, do you know he only did oysters for his mother's restaurant? The guy didn't work. This guy Platten or whatever, he didn't work. He's got a Nazi thing on his chest for 18 years. Bernie Sanders loves him. U.S. Senator out of Massachusetts, she loves him. Elizabeth Warren. They stayed to the last minute till finally, I guess he seemingly has raped somebody else or whatever. She comes forward and finally people are like, oh, I guess we got to find somebody else. So they could win that seat, but probably not. Susan Collins has never lost an election, but that's what Democrats are doing. They're putting forth people and part of their party, which is splitting apart, we can talk about it, is so devastatingly stupid. All they got to do as Democrats is this. Shut up. Put forth some people which they've done. They've been in the military. They're a Democrat. They're not like abort every baby at 9 months. They're just normal Democrats, right? Put some of those people up. Find somebody named Kennedy. Put him up somewhere. Like his name's Kennedy. He's like John F. Kennedy. So do that and they win. But they can't seem to do it. So it's very, very different than 06 when I had my big race and I lost and Sheldon Whitehouse took a lifetime seat from Chafee, Lincoln Chafee. Woo, Lincoln Chafee, not like his father, Lincoln Chafee, sort of a bizarre guy. But anyway, that's in my book, Primary Mistake, what happened, right? So this is very difficult to call, but yes, this oil price now is sort of locked in. Diesel over 5, gas at the pump over 4, right? So in 2008, when gas went to $4 a gallon, we shut down. We had Bear Stearns going broke. And just so you know, I drove around the United States of America in a Ford Expedition EL with 5 kids in the car, saving all kinds of money except for gasoline because nobody was traveling. But in this case, it would probably take gasoline at the pump to go to 5 for people to totally flip out. But it is affecting people and it will affect their votes more than anything else. But Trump's done a number of things, right? I mean, to really hurt the party. And it looks as though the party doesn't care, the Republican Party.
I know this is leisure, but I'm in Orlando. I've been to Disney, and you walk around Disney. They make videos about it on YouTube, so you can watch it on there. You don't have to believe me. Walk around Disney. It's a ghost town. Nobody there.
Wow.
And the only people that are there are very well-off Americans. That's it.
Yeah. Well, that's the K economy. This is the K economy where the wealthy people are 20% at the top are spending 63%. And the people at the bottom, whether they're younger, whether they just haven't made it to buy their own home, they're just sucking wind. And you know what, by the way, here's what's actually happened. Besides the fact, repossessions of cars are going up for poorer people, right? Credit card debt's at an all-time high because people, and one of the reasons is that if you can't buy a home, you rent the place and you do have extra money. You're not raking the lawn. What if you have some extra money versus buying a home, right? And you're just saying, screw it. I'm going to the World Cup. Live young, die young, whatever the hell, Billy Joel song or whatever, right? So that's actually where people with a lot of money are still spending, and we can't even calculate how much debt there is, because a lot of this is being done where I got credit cards, right? I pay them off, but and I'm blessed to be able to do it. But I get this thing like I bought a hamburger, and it's like, want to pay in 4 equal installments, Mr. Laffy? I'm like, a hamburger? I'm joking a little bit, right? But what the hell are you talking about?
It's true though. They're doing that now with the installments.
Yeah,
It's a big thing.
it's for like $50. Like if you listen, folks, if you are spending $50 on a credit card and want to pay $12.50, don't buy it. Like, you shouldn't be buying that at $50. If it's $4,000, okay, let's talk. If they're offering you no interest, just don't get in the habit. But we have this economy that's really. And when the stock market finally, whenever that is, that's going to set in a whole chain of events. Rich people feeling poorer. The most margin debt of all time is today or yesterday or the day before, right? So that's when they have to sell. They'll feel poorer. They'll lay some people off, and then we have the cycle of death, which the Federal Reserve will try to stop at all costs, no matter what, because they can't have that kind of debt. They can't have this thing spill out of control, but it will.
We'll move on, but just kind of to put the exclamation point, I know a friend that works for the state of Rhode Island. He's making pretty good money, well, close to 100,000, and he gets his credit card bill, and I said, do you pay your credit cards off right away? He said, no, I just put it in $50, $20, and I say, you got a good job, man.
Yeah,
you could pay that off right away. Yeah, but I just let it wait. Meanwhile, 25
at 20%,
30% interest.
Yeah, no,
I don't understand. But apparently they didn't.
Yeah, you don't understand. We don't understand, and I guess you're not listening to the show. But if you're listening to the show and you don't understand, go figure it out. Like, if you don't know what we're talking about, you got a problem. I'm saying, like this is the way of the world. Do you know how many people don't look at their credit card and have an average of like 12 different monthly things they don't use anymore, still getting billed for?
They don't care.
They don't read the Wall Street Journal. It comes in at $50. They don't even know. They don't. They're supposed to get like steaks every month. They don't get them but they still pay. Like, it's like 12 things a month. Me, I'm like, look at the credit card, like, because I grew up poor. I'm like, what? I'm looking at it like, what's this $43? Did you actually go to a beauty? Yes, I did. Okay, thank you. But that's, I'm like looking at every single line item. That's how I became. That's why I was a good mayor, and that's why I was good in finance. But you look at every line item. But it's really sad. But yeah, back to the midterms. One last thing on it. It's over now. The election's over, and Trump is just trying to make it worse on purpose. And the Republicans still don't get it.
Agree. Trump came in. He said he was going to end forever war.
Oh.
Then he gets into a war in Iran, which there's no way out for sure now.
Yeah.
He's just sucking wind, as you just said, in a little bit of a different terminology here.
Yeah.
But same thing, sucking wind here. Ukraine, he was going to be out in day one, still in there, still going with that.
Right.
Oil's going up, as we just spoke about. The inflation's higher than under Biden. Home ownership for millennials and Gen Z is an all-time low. So what do young people do right now? Because, I hear all these people that are older, they say, well, work 2 jobs, 3 jobs. How many hours are in a day?
Yeah.
I mean, there's only 24, so you can't work 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. Trump. So the answer to direction for the war, we've talked a little bit about it, but yes, like, even as we speak, as I've said before, Iran does not want the war to end.
No, because they're going to have that tariff going for all time now.
And when
Trump did that.
And when Trump paused the war, which he never should have done, by the way, he was ill prepared to start the war. He didn't give the Kurds the guns. He didn't get rid of he didn't jack up the strategic petroleum reserve, another 100 million barrels to fill it up. He didn't take care of Hezbollah before they, because now we get the Hezbollah situation. So he didn't do anything that a normal president or a 12-year-old would do to get ready. He didn't do it. So he just went into the war, right? And he said it's going to be over quickly, and it's not. And it can't be unless he completely backs down. Now, he could completely back down and declare victory and just go, take the ships and go away, which means we're going to have a problem. The one thing that's really interesting, though, for people is that the resilience of the oil market means that it was oversupplied. Trump let $7 billion already go back to Iran when he let those ships go out. They gave it to China. China's been able to really they've been really able to be flexible about how much oil they're using. I don't know how much more it can go.